What's going on, guys? In this video, it's that time of the week. It's another weekly rotation down. We're getting pretty far into this thing. Well into the 100 plus week range, and had some interesting ones this week. A lot of stuff that's new to the collection. Great stuff for summer that you may not necessarily think is good for summer. Some great evening wear stuff. Some timeless classic, in my opinion, that's a rebuy that I started wearing again. But a lot of variety this week. We've got some niche. We've got some Middle Eastern, we've got some cheap, we've got some mid to high level designer. We've got a little bit of everything here. And it's week number 134 in the weekly rotation. So stay tuned. Starting off on Sunday is one that's very new to the collection, that when you see the note breakdown, you may not think summer, but it does have an airy, breezy summer garden type of feel. There's a lot of florals here. It's powdery. It's fresh at the same time. It's very sweet. It's Rasasi, Nafaeis al Shaghaf pour Homme. Interesting name, I know, but kind of, I think now it just goes by Shaghaf. Finally get that to focus. Beautiful blue gradient design. Nice weight to the cap and everything, even though it's mostly plastic. It's got a lot of weight to it. Lovely, lovely fragrance. Whew, man, it's got the vibes of Invictus Aqua, but it doesn't really smell like Invictus Aqua. Like I said in the review, whereas that's standing next to the beach, this is walking through the garden in that same beach town. So similar vibe, different scent profile. Monster in performance. Can be had for under $50 from most discounters online. It's a very unique smell. I compare it with Invictus Aqua, like I said, for the vibe, not the scent profile. I've never smelled another fragrance that smells like this, and it definitely rides the line of unisex, even though it's the pour homme version. There is a pour femme for women version, which I have not smelled, but I don't see this as being overly masculine in any way. It's definitely one that I think anybody can wear, and like I said, you got to be mindful of the sprays because it's nuclear performance. It's super strong on my skin and can be had for a great price. Like I said, check out my full review for more details. This is Rasasi Shaghaf pour Homme. Then we got the shower. I actually went with this two days in a row out the shower, but all-time classic in my mind, Tommy by Tommy Hilfiger. That 30 ml is getting to the bottom. Probably going to bust out. My other 30 ml is an older bottle than my 50 ml backup, so I'll probably bust out the next 30 ml after the fact, but man, 90s in a bottle. It's no secret if you've been following the channel at least for a little while, the love I have for this fragrance. This is one of the most nostalgic fragrances in scent profiles of all time for me. This reminds me of late elementary to early middle school when Tommy was new and hot and everybody was wearing Tommy, and this was the first fragrance. And I mean Tommy Hilfiger clothing in general, but this was the first fragrance I ever really wanted and asked for as a Christmas present from my parents. So strong nostalgia ties, and it reminds me of the 90s. It's green, it's citrusy, it's a little touch of powder in the background. It's a little bitter at the same time. It's got a cactus note in it. Just love this stuff. Out the shower, Tommy by Tommy Hilfiger. Moving into Monday, this is another one I did a full review on, and while not a dead ringer for Tommy, it's definitely like 80-85% in the opening and heart. The dry down, they kind of go different ways, but this is Montale, Fougeres Marine, and it's basically Niche Tommy by Tommy Hilfiger. This is a tester bottle, that's why the stem, it's going through the atomizer head instead of as stopping the neck, so you can spray it at any given time. So the oak moss here with this little bit of geranium makes for a fresh green spicy feel, which is quite similar to this. Obviously much more aquatic. It's got this seawater note that sticks with you the whole way through, and it gets much more watery and musky as it starts to dry down and that oak moss starts to fade, because the oak moss, believe it or not, is in the top. You're going to get a lot of it up front, and this is kind of a ride the line between casual and semi-casual type of fragrance, whereas you can dress this one up a little bit. Something with a collar, whether it's a polo shirt, a button-up, an Oxford, something along those lines, this will definitely work in that situation. And in a hot climate, hot situation, summer day, a light suit, this will work for that too. Great performer, and like I said, if you're a fan of Tommy, by Tommy Hilfiger, you need to try this fragrance. It's nothing new. It's been around for many years now. I'm just getting around to it. But during the day, Fougeres Marine from Montale, in keeping with the theme, figured why not, and I ended up wearing Tommy by Tommy Hilfiger that evening as well. So, said everything I had to say in the last segment for Sunday, so we might as well move on to the next day. Moving into Tuesday, both of these fragrances I actually did full reviews on as well. This one's a little strange at first. During the day, I went with Majeure d'Issey from Issey Miyake. You can find this one for under $30 for a 50 ml all over the place online. It gets better and better with every spray. It really does. It's kind of like if Invictus wasn't so sweet and had more of a masculine, darker, muskier tinge to it, it would kind of be this. It's the easiest way I can describe it. You get citruses, there's aquatic feel to it, a little bit of C notes in there, I believe. There's some musky, woody type of smell to it, and it performs pretty well. Not a monster by any means, but definitely above average. Underrated, slept on type of fragrance. The strange opening that it has at first, I definitely experienced the first time I sprayed it, but I attribute it to acquiring a taste for something, whereas the next time I smelled it, I didn't have the same experience. And then ever since, every spray has gotten better and better and better, and I like it more and more. Underrated stuff, definitely sample first, not blind buy safe, because the first spray, based on my experience, you're probably not going to like it in the first spray more times than not, like a lot of people have reported across the internet. But you got to give this one a chance. You just have to give this one a chance. Check out my full review for more details. But during the day, Majeure d'Issey from Issey Miyake. And then we got the shower. I'd been wearing this out the shower. Been doing test sprays, did full wearings. Wore it a couple times the previous week. It is from Gentleman's Nod. It's their new first original fragrance called Musashi. It's basically a yuzu bomb. There's some nice fresh herbal green tea notes. There's a little touch of florals, some pink pepper that doesn't add much of spice. There's a little touch of some sweet spice in the background, but there's no real heavy sweetness or heavy spice. It's all about the yuzu. Yes, you get a hit of this juicy pear, and there's some other citrus going on, but it's a yuzu fragrance at its core. Long-lasting stuff, too. It's a 27% oil concentration. You can get samples of this. There's a link in my link tree with 10% off. It's limited run. I don't know if they'll do another batch down the line, but as of right now, it's just the one batch. So if you're interested in it, get a sample, check it out, because if you end up really liking it, now's the time to grab a bottle. But it's definitely a solid olfactive experience to have if you like yuzu, and you're looking for a yuzu fragrance that is just like super long lasting. Not crazy loud, pretty loud at first, but as it calms down, it leaves a nice, because the thickness of the oil concentration has a really good sillage and consistent bubble and trail. That's the beauty of the fragrance for me, and the yuzu lasts a really long time. So definitely check this one out if you can. Out the shower, Gentleman's Nod Musashi. Moving into Wednesday, one I haven't worn in a while, another one that I did a full review on. I've been doing a lot more individual reviews lately. Kind of, focusing more on single fragrances and not as much on multiple fragrances in the video. Obviously, they're not view magnets. I don't just review the flavor of the month. I review stuff that I enjoy smelling. And Nishane Wulong Cha is definitely one that I enjoy sniffing on. If you haven't tried this one yet, you're doing yourself a disservice. This is one of the best fresh niche fragrances on the market. It's a tea and fig fragrance, but it's got this gorgeous supporting bright citrus at the top. It's a little soapy. This litzy note kind of adds a little bit of a soapiness to it, but the fig's very juicy and soapy as well. It dries down into musk and fig. It's not super complex. It does lift you up at the top with this just bright, airy, and aromatic feel. Then as that citrus starts to calm down and you get into this tea note, this oolong tea is very soothing, nice and herbal, doesn't lose any freshness. It's kind of like a few stages to the freshness. You're always fresh at all times, and it's a well above average performer. Not a monster in performance, but above average. We're talking 6 to 8 hours of longevity on my skin, more in that 7 to 8 hour range, and sometimes even more, closer to 9 hours really, but it all depends on the situation and how much your body's heating up. But it's a beautiful fragrance, and it's Probably the best freshie from the house, at least of the ones I've tried so far. Like I said in the review video, I have 5 full bottles from Nishane. I have kind of majority of the highlights of the house. And this is hands down the best freshie of the bunch. Get your nose on this one. During the day, Wulong Cha, Nishane. Then we got the shower. This is one you might not see coming. Had this 1 ounce bottle for a long time. Shout outs to my buddy Miguel. He gave this to me when we were swapping decants and stuff many years ago, back when I lived in Texas. Out the shower, I went with Eternity Now from Calvin Klein. So I never really spent time with it. I would just sniff it from the atomizer here and there. Believe it or not, I've had this for years. This was kind of the first time I've wore it in God knows how long. And I remember why I don't wear it that much, because it excites you about the tropical feel. It's very tropical up top. A little bit of coconut, some fruits and things like that. It smells like a beach scent. Then the vanilla takes over and it becomes a basic vanilla scent once that opening kind of fades. Look, I like creamy vanilla just like the next fragrance lover, don't get me wrong. But I have so much better vanilla scents out there, and literally that's the only thing it's got going on for it, I find, on my skin to my nose in the dry down, is just straight vanilla. A little bit of woodiness, but mainly vanilla. It takes away the shine off the apple, because the opening is the shine on the apple in this one. It grabbed me the first time I smelled it, and then I just kind of shelved it. Revisit it, still feel the same way. The opening gets me excited because it's very tropical, fruity, coconut type of feel, and then falls flat into a vanilla scent. It's nice, it's okay, it's solid, but it's not one I can wholeheartedly recommend because it just becomes a basic vanilla scent. There's so much better, even from Calvin Klein out there, if you're looking for a great summertime tropical vibe. This is okay, but they definitely have much better. Out the shower, Eternity Now from Calvin Klein. Moving into Thursday, I wore this to the gym. I wore this out the shower. I wore this during the day. It is the original Polo Blue Eau de Toilette. This is a rebuy. I've been kind of falling back in love with the entire Polo Blue line, minus the red, white, and blue flanker, because that's astronomically expensive to get on eBay because it's been discontinued for a while. I'll never own that because I'm not paying that outrageous price. But this, I still love. Weaker side of performance, sure. It's bright. That first hour, it's a loud fragrance. You can spray this one pretty heavy. It's a bit much in the first 30 minutes if you do spray it heavy. But it's one that, if performance is important to you, you'll hate this fragrance. But it's a nostalgic fragrance for me. It reminds me of my late teens, early 20s. This came out in 02, 03, something like that. I was 18 in 03. You know? There was a time, I had a gift set of this years ago with the 4.2 ounce bottle, and it came with I think the 40 ml was the small bottle that came in a gift set, so I had Polo Blue for quite a while. It's that beautiful, watery, cucumber, green, fresh feel. It's early 2000s. This is the smell of the early 2000s. It really is. It spawned a ton of great flankers, which, like I said, I have all minus, well, I have a decant of the new Polo Blue Parfum, but I'm going to get a bottle at some point. But all of the flankers are good. Deep Blue Parfum, Eau de Parfum's good. Gold Blend, which I've only smelled once, I do have. Polo Sport. I used to have Polo Blue Sport. I used to have that years ago. I just recently rebought that. Beautiful, fresh mint fragrance, you know. They're underrated these days because everybody wants performance, 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 and that's mostly not what this line's about. Very few perform decent. This one is probably the weakest of the bunch, but it's the most iconic, and it's the best smelling one, to be honest with you. It's my favorite of the bunch. All day long, I was reliving and enjoying Polo Blue EDT. Moving into Friday, we had some things going on during the day, had a lovely dinner in the evening, so the 2 scents that I chose for the day reflected on the day's events, with Zaharoff Signature Pour Homme as my scent of the day, one that I haven't worn in quite some time. I typically like to wear this one with a suit and tie, but these days I don't really have too many situations where I wear a suit and tie, so it kind of gets put to the back burner more than you would think. And don't get me wrong, I wear other fragrances in the house. It's just, I haven't been spending time with this one. Beautiful, bright lavender, warm resins, dense woods. It's still phenomenal. It's still a great fragrance. It was a lovely experience. It lasted pretty much all day on my skin until I took a shower in the evening before we headed out, got dressed and headed out to dinner. I love this one. My wife loves this one. It's a very professional, masculine, you know, mature scent that doesn't smell old. When I say mature, this is well put together. This is you got your shit together type of scent. You know, not the flat bill hat. I don't wear this with a flat bill hat. You know what I mean? I have in the past, but this is one I like to dress up a little bit. Usually Oxford are better, but like I said before, my favorite suit and tie fragrance. If you haven't tried this one yet, you really should get a sample from the Zaharoff website and try it. It is the staple, the pillar, the base DNA for all of the fragrances that are available from the house, except for the Z Creator Project. Those were individual separate creations, but all the ones on the market came from this fragrance as its base. This is the original DNA. Check it out if you haven't yet. It's a wonderful masculine fragrance during the day. Zaharoff signature pour homme. Then I got the shower for dinner, my evening scent. I just recently got this one, and this is my first wearing. I feel like the sillage and projection on this are perfect for the scent profile. Justin sold me on this. Justin's the reason I wanted to pick this one out when they reached out to me. Micallef. This is Desir Toxic. That gorgeous bottle. I've seen Justin talk about this one countless times, and I was like, ooh, one day I need to get my nose on that. And I was very fortunate that they actually reached out to me and afforded me the opportunity to experience some of their fragrances. I happened to pick this in Eden Falls, which we'll discuss Eden Falls another time. I've only done two test sprays with that one so far, but I've done a full wearing with this one. And the hype is real on how intoxicating this scent is. It's spicy, it's tart and fruity, and the cannabis here isn't overdone. Very detectable in the forefront. It's in your face, but not too in your face. It doesn't just smell like you just put a joint out type of thing. It's gives this herbaceous, slightly earthy, smoky green tone to mix with that cardamom, that sweet spice that you get, and the black currant kind of smooths everything out. Adds a little bit of tartness and fruity, dark fruity nature to the scent profile. There is a little cinnamon in here that kind of works with the cardamom. It doesn't directly smell like cinnamon to me, or at least not heavily, but this fragrance is gorgeous. This is a fantastic date night scent. My wife loves the way this one smells, and I think it is incredible. This is definitely the highlight for me from the house so far. Like I said, I've only tried the two. I'm hoping to get my nose on Osaito at one point. This more of a marine, fresh summer type of fragrance. But for now, I am loving the hell out of this. This stuff is freaking great. This is olfactive experience worthy, meaning get a sample and try this one. They knocked this scent profile out the park. It does have vibes of Leighton. I know somebody's bound to ask in the comment section. It does have a similar vibe to Leighton, but I don't find it really smells completely like Leighton. I would say maybe 40-50% similarity, but does the same job. This, however, is not as mass appealing, but more interesting. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a great way. This is more of a conversation starter than Leighton in my experience with it so far. This stuff smells great. Out the shower, we went to dinner, and I went with Parfums Micallef Desir Toxic. Finally, on Saturday, it was a casual type of day. We did have a late lunch. We went out to eat 2 days in a row. Not that often that we do it as much anymore. We kind of slowed down on it a little bit, but we still like to go out, have a little time to ourselves, and not cook all the time. And for my daytime scent casually, and when we went have lunch, I was feeling some summer vibes here. I did a full review on this one as well. Bvlgari Aquamarine. Look, it sticks to my skin. I got more in the 7-ish hour range on my skin today before it kind of killed off. Salty sea breeze. This is by the beach. Every time I smell it, it's that salty sea air, the breeziness. They captured it in this bottle. It's the most accurate depiction of that scent in the line. They all have some form of it, but this one is the most by the beach of all. Not the biggest performer. It's above average. It performs great for me. But Aqua Atlantique definitely is a beast compared to this for sure. Prices are still below retail. I saw on FragranceNet earlier, after the 37% off coupon code, 50 ml is $53, 100 ml is $80. And some people go, oh, 80, oh my God, it was 40 and 50 before. I get that. It's still lower than retail. Can you really get that mad that it's still not at retail yet? So keep that in mind if you've been wanting to get a bottle, because it's just going to climb. So keep that in mind. Check out the review to get more details on it. But during the day, I was loving this. I wore it to the gym, and I wore it casually. Aquamarine. And then I just got out the shower before I decided to go ahead and record this video. Just picked this one up from Nordstrom Rack a couple of days ago. I am going to wear Chrome Pure this evening from Azzaro. Give it my first full wearing. It's not one that I've spent any time with yet that I think smells wonderful. And as a matter of fact, let me just do 3 good sprays because I'm just lounging around. My day is over. I'll be editing this video after I record it. Beautiful, fresh, juicy, and smooth type of citrus. Some creaminess, a little bit of a bitter tea note. Gives this nice green herbal feel. It's creamy. I like that about this. It makes that citrus smoothed out with the creaminess. It's a lovely fragrance. I don't know why I just put off getting it for so long. I see it at Walmart all the time. I've seen it online 1,000 times. And I just kept putting it off. But it was nice to finally add it to the collection because these chrome flankers are always solid. I've yet to come across one that I was like, nah, shouldn't have bought that. I've got like 5 or 6 of them now. And this one's really good too. So out the shower this evening, Azzaro Chrome Pure. Well, that is my rotation for week number 134. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. I do appreciate all the feedback. And I love hearing from you guys. What'd you wear this week? Those of you that are familiar with the format, you know I was looking for that. Love reading those comments. This is my favorite format video of the week every week. And these are my favorite comments to read. Make sure to let me know what you've been wearing this past week down in the comments. And until next time, I will say if you get your hands on any of the stuff I wore this past week and give it a spray now, pretty confident you'll thank me later. Have a good one, guys.